Every single day, you see people living the life you think you should have. They look richer, happier, more confident. They seem like they figured something out, something you missed. You tell yourself you're just inspired by them, that it's motivation. But deep down, something twists. That quiet whisper says you're behind. So you push harder. You stay up later. You make another plan, set another goal, chase another high. But here's the strange part. No matter how far you climb, that feeling never goes away. You get the promotion, you finally hit that income goal, and for a moment it feels incredible. But it fades faster than you expected. Within days, you're already thinking about the next milestone. It's not that you're ungrateful. It's that your brain was never designed to stop chasing. This isn't ambition, it's addiction. Addiction to progress, to status, to the illusion of almost there. We think we're chasing freedom, but most people are just chasing escape. Escape from the anxiety of not being enough. Escape from the discomfort of standing still. That's the trap. You think the next win will fix the emptiness. But the emptiness is what fuels the next win. The dopamine loop of money. Dopamine doesn't care about fulfillment. It's not the pleasure chemical we've been told it is. It's the anticipation chemical. You don't get dopamine when you have the thing you want. You get it when you're almost there. That nearly made it moment is where the brain lights up. That's why buying something rarely feels as good as wanting it. That's why scrolling, hustling, and planning feel addictive. They keep the loop alive. You chase that promotion, that side hustle, that next zero in your account. And the moment you get it, dopamine disappears. Now you're stuck with the silence after the rush. You confuse that silence with failure, so you start chasing again. Money, followers, validation, they all work the same way. They trick your brain into thinking satisfaction is one step ahead. But it never is. The finish line keeps shifting because dopamine doesn't care if you win. It only cares that you keep running. It's like being on a treadmill that keeps speeding up every time you catch your breath. You can't stop because stopping feels like dying. And that's the loop so many people are trapped in. They call it grind mode, but what it really is survival mode in designer clothing. The moving goalpost effect. You remember the first time you said, "If I just make this much, I'll be happy"? You actually believed it. You thought there was a number, a clear finish line. Then you got there. And suddenly, this much didn't feel like enough. You raised the bar. Now you needed 20% more. Then 50% more. Then double. That's hedonic adaptation. Your brain's ability to turn every victory into a new baseline. The moment you achieve something, it stops being special. It becomes your new normal. We call it leveling up. But really, it's just running in place with a nicer view. You buy the car, it becomes just the car. You move into your dream apartment, it becomes just home. You meet your goal and instantly feel the void again. The more you get, the less you feel it. That's why even millionaires describe themselves as just getting started. It's not ambition anymore. It's desensitization. Hedonic adaptation is the reason peace feels boring. When your life becomes predictable, your brain stops firing dopamine. And because you've been trained to associate stimulation with meaning, you think boredom means failure. So you seek chaos again. New goals, new hustles, new distractions. The irony is brutal. You keep trying to build stability, but you're addicted to the instability that chasing brings. Status addiction, the real currency. Let's be honest, we don't actually want money. We want what it represents. Money is just a proxy for status, safety, and self-worth. If everyone on Earth had the same income, nobody would flex it. The value only exists because someone else has less. That's how status anxiety works. You don't measure success by your bank account. You measure it by where you stand relative to everyone else. And in a digital world where everyone's highlight reel is 24/7, that comparison never ends. Every scroll reminds you that someone's doing better. Someone's younger, richer, fitter, or freer. Even if it's fake, your brain doesn't know the difference. You see an image, dopamine fires. You feel a gap, cortisol rises. You start chasing again. That's why we flex. Not because we're arrogant, but because we're terrified of being invisible. Social media turned status into a scoreboard and attention into the new currency. We used to compare ourselves to our neighbors. Now we compare ourselves to the entire planet. The top 1% of people online have become the benchmark for normal, so everyone feels like they're losing. And that's exactly how the system keeps you spending, scrolling, and striving. Because if you ever felt content, the game would end. How capitalism weaponized ambition. The modern economy runs on dissatisfaction. The moment people stop feeling like they're missing something, everything collapses. So capitalism evolved into a psychological machine that monetizes your insecurity. After World War II, advertising changed. It stopped saying, buy this product, and started saying, buy this identity. You weren't buying toothpaste, you were buying confidence. You weren't buying a car, you were buying freedom. You weren't buying clothes, you were buying belonging. This was the birth of emotional capitalism. An entire system designed to sell feelings, not things. The genius of it is subtle. It tells you that happiness is possible, but only through consumption. That peace is attainable, but just one purchase away. It keeps you chasing, not because you're greedy, but because you're afraid to be the only one standing still. And then came the internet. The algorithm took what marketing started and supercharged it. Now you don't just see ads. You live inside one. Every influencer, every success story, every financial freedom reel, they all sell the same dream. Not wealth, the idea of becoming someone who has it. It's ambition turned into an infinite subscription service. Every day, new content. New methods. New ways to be more. The message never changes. You could be happier, richer, freer, if you just work harder. It sounds empowering, but it's actually dependency disguised as discipline. A society that constantly chases growth needs you to stay unsatisfied. Because content people don't buy, they don't hustle, and they don't compete. They live, and that's bad for business. Escaping the wealth trap. Here's the hard truth. You will never stop wanting. You can't. The brain isn't built for contentment, it's built for survival. But you can decide what kind of hunger you feed. You can want progress without needing validation. You can want growth without feeling broken without it. Step 1. Track how your goals make you feel. Ask yourself, are you chasing something because it excites you or because you think it will make you enough? Write it down. Patterns will start to appear. You'll notice that the goals driven by ego always feel heavier. They drain you instead of energizing you. Step 2. Define your enough. Most people never do this. They have endless goals but no endpoint. And when you have no endpoint, the race never ends. Define what stability actually means for you. What number, what lifestyle, what pace lets you breathe. Once you hit it, protect it. That's the beginning of freedom. Step 3. Invest in autonomy, not aesthetics. Freedom isn't having the nicest things. It's having control over your time. It's being able to say no without fear. It's waking up and not being owned by your to-do list or your followers. The rich don't buy proof. They buy peace. They buy leverage. They buy time. Autonomy is the real flex. Because you can fake luxury. You can't fake freedom. Reprogramming the brain for enough. Breaking free from the wealth trap isn't about quitting ambition. It's about retraining your brain to recognize contentment. If dopamine is the engine, gratitude is the brake. When you actually stop and acknowledge what's already good, your brain releases serotonin, the chemical of calm, satisfaction, and presence. That's why gratitude journaling works. It's not woo-woo, it's neurochemistry. When you focus on what you already have, you deactivate the circuits that drive the constant next. But most people never give themselves that pause. Stillness feels uncomfortable. Silence feels like something's wrong. We've been taught to fill every quiet moment with noise, with scrolling, hustling, or planning the next move. So gratitude feels unnatural at first. It feels small. But over time, it starts to rewire your entire reward system. Try this. Tomorrow morning, before you grab your phone, say out loud 3 things you already have that you once thought were impossible. It could be your health, your apartment, the people in your life, even just the fact that you have another day to try again. Do that every day for a week, and you'll start to notice a subtle shift. You'll still want more, but you'll stop needing it to feel okay. And that's the moment you start taking your power back. Because gratitude doesn't kill ambition. It refines it. It reminds you that success without peace is just another form of poverty. The freedom metric. So what is real wealth? It's not a number. It's not a lifestyle. It's not how many people know your name. Real wealth is waking up and not needing anything external to feel okay. It's when your mood doesn't depend on your metrics. When your worth doesn't swing with your income. When you can admire someone's success without feeling smaller. That's not detachment, it's mastery. It's when you finally understand that chasing validation was never about money. It was about trying to fix an emotional wound with external rewards. The true flex is peace. The real status symbol is calm. Because once you can sit in a room with nothing but your thoughts and not feel the urge to check who's watching, you've already won the game everyone else is still playing. The richest people aren't the ones with the biggest numbers. They're the ones who've learned how to stop counting. And that's what this channel is about. Not motivation. Not hustle. Awareness. Because awareness is the first step to freedom. So the next time you feel that familiar pull, the urge to compare, to chase, to prove, pause. Remember this, you don't need more to be more. You just need to remember who you were before the chase began.